when I started streaming Master Duel, people were telling me about this, and it's one of the first things that I found out about. So right now, this is the first time that I'm getting like actually into it, because this video, it's an 18 minutes video about it. So I can't wait to see it. Let's go.
This is Jesse Cotton, a Yu-Gi-Oh! World Champion, and he's about to play in one of his most bizarre matches in his career, because sitting across the table from him is a 10-year-old who's never played Yu-Gi-Oh! What followed next was...
Is it an actual 10-year-old who has never played Yu-Gi-Oh? Because why? What are you doing in a tournament?
quite possibly the lowest moment in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! History.
Wow. I can't wait to hear
You
that.
eviscerated that child, Jesse.
But before we move on to the duel, we need to set the scene. This duel wasn't just like any normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Match.
Yeah,
it was a duel taking place in quite possibly one of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s darkest ages. This format had seen some of the highest proportion of strategies that were just not fun to play against. So many decks could win on the first turn, discard your entire hand before the opponent draws a card. Hell, there are even decks that could banish every single card from your deck, leaving you with quite literally no cards to play with. And the root of this cancer stemmed from one single card, Firewall Dragon. In case you're wondering why ritual monsters now have arrows in them, I'll give a quick rundown on how this card works. Its effect is where once while face up on a field, quick effect, you can target monsters on a field and or graveyard up to the number of monsters culling to this card, return them to the hand. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or sent to the grave, you can special summon one monster from your hand. To anyone who's remotely familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh!, it was clear this card was completely broken. Without a resource system to keep the number of moves a player can make in a turn in check, Yu-Gi-Oh! Often straddles the line in being broken overnight, with its catalogue of over 10,000 cards that can be played at any point, where many seemingly worthless cards are abused back and forth, without the single guard that keeps the card in check. Being the sole line, this card can only be used once per turn. In fact, if you've ever seen a card in Yu-Gi-Oh! That doesn't have this line, there's a 9% chance that it's been involved in some sort of degenerate combo at one point in Yu-Gi-Oh!'s history, and in the modern design of the game, it's very rare to see cards without this line, no matter how awful. To make sure that there aren't any potential exploits that can slip through the cracks, Firewall Dragon, for absolutely no reason, was one of these exceptions.
Was one of the best cards in the game.
The first part of the card effect isn't anything too crazy, and whilst it adds some nice utility, wasn't what made the card completely bonkers. The secondary effect could special summon any monster from your hand if any monster was sent to your grave or destroyed by battle, as many times as you want. Your monster gets sent to the grave for a fusion summon, you can special summon a monster. Your monster gets destroyed by Regeki Break, special summon a monster. Your monster trips and falls, special summon a monster. This card generated so much insane advantage, as you essentially had an infinite way to dump your entire hand for basically doing nothing. And with the rampant power creep of link summoning, a new special form of summoning from the extra deck, where you could link summon at any time by sending any choice of cards from your field to the grave, which, hey, procs Firewall's effect. As expected, this card generated a variety of ways to win on your first turn, with the huge card advantage you would gain for simply doing anything. For example, Cannon Soldier, a card that was balanced by the fact that it came out when special summoning more than 10 times in a turn, would be inconceivable for most decks. Like, you tribute one monster and deal 500 points of burn damage, but without the once per turn clause, provided you had enough monsters to sacrifice, you could theoretically do it over again and again and again. So
yeah, the Firewall Dragon got like a fix, right? They changed the effect because it was a really popular monster from the anime, right? So you cannot ban it from, because it's something like important. So I guess the way was to change the effect, right?
Paired with Firewall Dragon, every time you sent a monster to the grave for Cannon Soldier, that monster would get replaced by whatever fodder you had in your hand by Firewall Dragon's effect, giving you infinite monsters for Cannon Soldier's effect. As much as the people who had never touched a game past the age of 8 like to complain about Yu-Gi-Oh!, this format was quite literally solitaire. It was extremely common to see a match consisting of one player moving around some cards on her playmat for 6 minutes and winning without the other player even drawing a single card. What's worse is that Firewall Dragon was left rampant for an entire year. Hell, it originally was allowed to be played at 3 copies for a bit, before Konami thought that limiting it to 1 copy would solve the entire mess of a format. It didn't. So for most of 2018, if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're facing off against decks that would be very consistently winning on your first turn, before you even got to play a single move. And that's what poor Matthew was facing off against at YCS London 2018. But before we move on
That is just the context. That is 4 minutes of context.
the rest of the video, I want to thank FlexSpot for sponsoring today's video. I've recently renovated my setup
I'm not
and
sponsored, by
upgraded to the
He's
FlexSpot
a
E7 standing
the one
desk,
who is-
along with their
is
treadmill,
sponsored.
and they've genuinely made my workflow so much more comfortable. I spend a lot of time editing videos,
Yeah.
and sitting all day really wasn't doing my posture any favors. With this setup, I can switch
I don't know
between
if I'm
sitting,
allowed
standing,
to
or walking depending on what I'm doing.
skip
One of the
this?
coolest things about the treadmill is that it has
I don't know
Bluetooth
what are the
MP3
rules
playback,
about it
so I can listen
exactly.
to music whilst I'm walking. The treadmill
For
is also
reacting
extremely
content, I have to
durable.
ask.
It's built with a 275-pound weight capacity. It's sturdy enough
But
that I
it's
can
like
walk
we're
while
watching
typing,
TV
and even
together
do
and
light
we
workouts
just
like
get
dumbbell
like an
curls
ad, right?
without worrying about stability. The E7 desk itself also is
I'm not
extremely
sure.
premium. It's very sturdy.
I don't
tested
know
it at
if-
different heights,
what are
and
the
there's
rules?
barely
I will
any
have to look
wobble.
it up.
The height adjustment is smooth, and it supports up to 160 kilos, so it easily handles a full gaming setup without any issues. For
We should
me,
just
the
escape
mix
skip?
of stability,
Are you sure?
weight capacity, and a price is what sold me. And if you're interested,
I have to look
FlexSpot's
how what
Black
other
Friday
people do.
sale
I'm
is
gonna
right
pay
around the
more
corner.
attention to
You
that.
can get up to 80% off, plus a chance to win your entire order for free. You can use my code YTE730
I like
for
that
an extra
you're using,
$30
like,
off.
the guy is using the
FlexSpot
table
also offers discounts for
for
medical
the
workers,
cards.
students,
I love it.
graduates, teachers, and the military.
You're
If
gonna
you
put the
pick one
video
up,
out
leave a note
anyways?
with my channel name at checkout. It really
we
helps
will
support
see.
the channel. Now, let's get back to the video. Of course, to showcase the wonderful spectacle of the matches that Yu-Gi-Oh had to offer, a live
Yeah.
stream was being broadcast, and so the tournament producers had a real conundrum on their hands. What better way to promote the game than a clash between the best of the best,
Yeah.
trading blow for blow in a test of pure skill? And they settled on a match between Jesse Cotton, the previous winner
Obviously.
of YCS London 2017, one of Yu-Gi-Oh's rising stars in contention for the best, against Matthew Thompson, a literal 10-year-old. In one corner, we have Jesse Cotton, being a pro duelist he is, playing one of the meta-viable strategies for the tournament.
Wait, how long ago was this? Did I miss the time? Where was this? When was this? This person, the 10-year-old, is what? Like 17 now? But he will forever be remembered as the 10-year-old. That is so funny.
Hands. What better way to
Do you
promote
think he's
the
still playing? Do you think Coffin Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb? Definitely. I wonder if he's still playing.
game than a clash between the best of the best, trading blow for blow in a test of pure skill. And they settled on a match between Jesse Cotton, the previous winner of YCS London 2017, one of Yu-Gi-Oh's rising stars in contention for the best, against Matthew Thompson, a literal 10-year-old. In one corner, we have Jesse Cotton, being a pro duelist he is, playing one of the meta-viable strategies for the tournament, so he's playing Danger Dark World first turn kill.
Of
And
course.
in the other corner, we have 10-year-old Matthew Thompson, and he's playing, well, other. This wasn't a fair match by any definition.
No! Oh, there. That is. Oh my god, no. That is so awful, dude. I feel bad for the. No, me too. Me too. I assume what happened is that they decided first, yeah, we're featuring Jesse no matter what, right? And since the opponent is random, it just happened that he actually got like placed against an actual 10-year-old. I don't know.
Of the word. Where Jesse was studying combo lines the night before, Matthew was studying decimals. Jesse's biggest stress in life was about how to pay rent. Matthew's biggest stress was about wondering how his spelling test would go. What's probably the worst part about the setup is that the tournament producers knew what they were doing. Every duelist before they sign up is
knew?
required to submit a deck list showing every card they plan on using. And they knew for a fact that Matthew was playing a pile of pack filler cards that you would find for 4 cents on TCG Player.
Wait,
Fast.
was he actually playing these cards? Wait, hold on. I need to see these cards. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed it in from your graveyard. Okay, that doesn't sound bad. I mean, it is bad, but like it's not like it's not like an unusable card, right? When your opponent activates a spell trap or monster effect with the same with the same name as a card in their graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. Up to the number of monsters your opponent controls, you can only activate one level 4 or lower. I don't know.
The
I have to see the
Phoenix,
whole
if you
deck.
will.
I haven't even stocked the shelves yet.
Then I'll just take whatever's lying around.
It was clear to anyone that Matthew was a new player who had come to the tournament because of the anime.
That
You
is
could
such a
tell by
good
the
use
Dark
of that
Magician
clip.
and Red Eyes Black Dragon in his deck.
But looking at Matthew's deck, he's playing quite a versatile deck. He seems to be a big fan of the anime here. He's playing cards like Red Eyes and Dark Magician. UFO Turtle is in there as well. He's got some Gravekeepers in there as well.
Did Yugi play UFO Turtle at any point?
But unfortunately, this was
Yikes. Yikes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2018. This was the big leagues. It's a game dominated almost exclusively by grown men with poor social skills in their mid to late 20s.
That's me, that's me.
Setting 3 cards face down.
You know you got 4 darks.
I turn it over.
And to top off, this was quite literally the first tournament he had ever attended in his life.
Alright, and you're now going up against Jesse Cotton. Are you a bit nervous, or you're like, okay, I'm gonna crush this guy?
Quite nervous since this is my first tournament.
But I can tell you with confidence, we've seen this before. We've seen some of the most experienced players. Sometimes they get cocky. He
Are
doesn't
you
seem
sure about
cocky
that?
right now, but we never know.
This was set up
Are you sure about that? This is like that child that went to play chess with a grandmaster. What was his name? Anatoly Karpov or something? Yeah, it's like that one video with the Dark Souls music. You see the bar. That is so funny. I wish we could help him to be good. Literally, is Bandit Kid versus Pegasus. Huh? Bandit Kid versus Pegasus Kid? What? I blame Konami. Well, there is definitely a lot of people responsible here. Definitely.
to be a David against Goliath, a real underdog match where maybe even a kid with no experience could win, as long as they believed in the heart of the
hopes
cards,
and
and maybe,
dreams.
just maybe, against all the odds, they could win. Our young duelist could draw the one card that could turn the tide. Well, that's assuming he even got to draw a card before losing. To add to the absurdity of the situation, the commentators of course play it straight. After all, these were the cards
He's
they were dealt
actually
with.
hopes
To their
and
credit,
dreams.
they treat Matthew like any other serious competitor, pretending like the outcome of the duel is anything but a bloodbath.
He mentioned that it's his first tournament. That's impressive. It shows a lot of character. Let's see how they get on, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
By the way, if
what are you supposed to say exactly? As a commentator, what is the right thing to do here? It's like, very unlucky that, what was the name of the kid? I don't know. The guy, right? Got like placed against Jesse. Yeah, very unlucky that he's gonna lose. You're not supposed to do that, right? You have to at least say like, oh yeah, really cool that he's actually playing. He shows character. I feel like that is a correct thing to do if like it's already decided you can do nothing about it as a commentator, right? I don't know. Maybe, am I being mean? Am I an asshole? I don't know. I feel like that, what else can you do, right?
you're currently enjoying the video, why not subscribe to the
Alright,
channel?
I'm subscribed,
It helps me a
definitely.
lot.
I'm also
Lets me
liking
know
it.
this is the kind of content that you want to watch. On to the actual match, Jesse gets to go first, and activates the effect of Danger Dogman. Danger cards all work the same way. You show one to your opponent,
Okay.
they randomly pick a card from your hand to discard, and if it's not the Danger monster, you get to summon it and draw a card. Each one also has its own special effect when it's discarded, and
Interesting.
miraculously, Matthew manages to snipe Danger Dogman, causing Jesse to discard it. A bit of bad luck for Jesse, as Danger Dogman's discard effect didn't do anything. But that's not to worry, as Jesse still has another Danger monster in his hand, so he activates the effect of Danger Nessie, and once again, Matthew manages to hit Nessie. So far, maybe it's through the heart of the cards, Matthew hasn't managed
Actual
to lose
protagonist
yet.
luck.
Unfortunately for Matthew, Nessie actually rewards Jesse for being discarded this
Oh,
time,
no.
letting him search for another Danger monster from his deck. And so this time, Jesse activates Danger Mothman's effect to let Matthew pick a card to get discarded. And surely, this is the momentum starter that Jesse finally has to
Oh,
win.
no.
Oh, wow. Matthew managed to somehow pick the third Danger card in a row. Jesse, with nothing left to do, has to pass the turn to Matthew.
No
Matthew
way,
had survived
dude.
the turn against one of the best players Yu-Gi-Oh had ever seen. There's a semblance of a chance of Matthew countering here. Jesse had nothing on his field, no traps, no monsters, just a single useless spell that he had set. This was the chance that Matthew
Love.
needed, to prove to the world that maybe if there was a connection with the cards in your deck, that the heart of the cards could prevail.
Oh no, dude.
Beginning of the end.
He has.
Matthew plays a single field spell and passes. Not exactly the reversal that was needed for Matthew to
Excuse me? I just watch it.
When the field spell that Matthew activated was Temple of the Mind's Eye, a card that reduced any battle damage to 1000. Except Jesse's deck doesn't even use battle damage, he wins by burning your life points directly, making this card functionally useless. We even get to take a peek at Matthew's hand.
And Matthew, he's got that token collector, Signet Refresh, Toll Hike, Gravekeeper Spiritualist, and Danger Dogman as well.
Wait. Did you? Are you not supposed to set your your traps? Are you not supposed to set your trap cards? Or I don't know what token collector does, but like, I know.
Which, to put it politely, was a random assortment of cards that had nothing to do with each other. And then Jesse begins his next turn, and what happens next can only be described as an onslaught. Cards start flying, monsters are being summoned, discarded. Every second Matthew's being exposed to a new card he had never heard of, a new summoning mechanic he didn't know existed, each new card text being longer than the last. All the while, Matthew's still trying to figure out how Jesse managed to summon more than one monster in a turn.
Can you remember when your first tournament was and how you felt going into that and what this might feel for Matthew here being at a YCS up against this?
I mean, my first tournament was a long time ago. It was long enough ago that things like this didn't happen so often. You know, I remember the Demise King of Armageddon OTK and being kind of,
I don't even know what they are
slightly
talking about.
by that. But other than that, the idea of not actually having a turn was not very prevalent.
Jesse's turn takes so long that Matthew's actually spent more time shuffling Jesse's deck than he has actually playing the game. In fact, Jesse goes above and beyond, summoning Elder Entity Azathoth, a card that prevents Matthew from activating any rogue hand traps from his hand, a move which I'm totally sure was lost on him.
I mean,
at
Jesse
this point,
didn't know
Matthew
that.
was just watching a pretty cardboard move on the desk. Matthew at one point during Jesse's turn, presumably confused as to what's even happening, calls over Judge to help explain how Jesse has managed to win on his first turn, which after an explanation from both the judge and Jesse, presumably still left him just as confused as he was before he
Oh
began.
my
I think Jesse's
god.
just explaining the combo to Matthew now. I don't think he's seen this before.
So yeah, the first game ends in a loss for Matthew, and we move on to the siding phase. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, in between each duel of a match, players have the option to swap out cards from
the
their
side
deck,
deck.
with what's known as a side deck, which typically is full of cards that counter other meta decks.
I wonder
Jesse
what's
and
in-
Matthew both opt to not do this for
Okay.
two totally different reasons.
It doesn't look like either
Yeah,
player's
but it
but
was
Matthew
making
probably
use the
didn't
side
have
deck.
one, right?
Matthew probably didn't have a side deck,
Okay.
most likely because he was unaware of siding being a component of the game. Jesse chose not to because he had seen Matthew play a single card. Even on the second game, the commentator still played completely straight, attempting to form
But
some commentary
exactly,
over
what are you
was
supposed to
essentially
do as a
seeing Jesse
commentator?
fiddle around with paper for 10 minutes.
He's got Gigantes and some older, really like.
Gigantes is pretty fun.
It's a great card. Any interactions we're expecting from the field there from Matthew? Probably.
I don't actually know what Showdown of the Secret Sense scroll does.
Matthew gets to go first as Jesse's won the first game. He sets a total of 3 trap cards: Necrofusion, the Revenge of the Normal, and Showdown of the Secret Sense, 2 of which are impossible to play under the current conditions,
Yeah.
and a lone UFO turtle.
One face
That's
out,
the
one turret to
iconic
the field,
UFO
which
turtle.
we know is the UFO turtle.
The play goes to Jesse, and unfortunately for Matthew, Jesse actually is able to make some moves, and Jesse still spares no expense by destroying one of Matthew's traps, which, on the bright side, wasn't that much of a loss for Matthew considering the card couldn't even be played.
Yeah.
Now,
I think it's fair to say Matthew is in danger here as well.
yeah. Good one, Dom.
Very interestingly,
Alright,
Matthew
maybe
does
that
attempt to
wasn't as
counter one
good
of
as
Jesse's
the other
plays.
ones.
Matthew rather excitedly, finally hopeful at the opportunity of getting to play a move instead of spectating someone else, activates Showdown of the Secret Sense scroll. Well, at least he thought he could, before being let down by the judge that he in fact could not play anything, and was stuck sitting there again. Jesse again goes full combo for another couple of minutes, until about 15 minutes into the game, Matthew finally gets to play his very first and only card of the entire match.
Oh,
Wow!
Oh, that's cheeky. He's just negated his opponent's beginning of the end.
This one simple card would be the wrench in the wheel of Jesse's unstoppable combo. Maybe it would stop his momentum and be the start of a snowball
It's
towards
not
Matthew's
gonna, it's not
victory.
gonna do
So as we
anything.
see, Jesse with a 2-0.
Jesse basically ignores Matthew's counter trap and as retaliation destroys the remaining trap that Matthew had, leaving no stone left unturned, and with that, the last trap being destroyed, which again for Matthew was a card that he was unable to play. Matthew is left with a single lone UFO turtle, and as we'll soon see, is the only monster he got to summon this entire match. The commentators for the next 3 minutes attempt to fill the air by pretending
But yeah,
they
I
are
think
watching
they
the
are
most
doing-
one-sided stomp ever in Yu-Gi-Oh!
What are they
history.
supposed to
How
do?
much would that track card have interrupted what Jesse's doing right now?
Well,
Do you think it's actually going to have an impact on the game? Could it really shift any momentum into Matthew's
I
way?
am fully expecting Jesse to still assemble his win condition this turn.
Okay.
Matthew ends his suffering when he sees Toon Cannon Soldier and decides to cut his losses and concedes the game, ending his very short-lived Yu-Gi-Oh! Career on stream.
No, I know. The Jifan is like talking about it like objectively, right? Like, I know, but like, I feel like, I don't know, like people always like to like blame someone here, and it's like the person who saw that happening and still decided to, like, you have probably decided before, right? Like whoever like Jesse plays against is gonna be shown, right? Because he was like the previous winner, right? But like when you see this, you probably should like show other people, not this match. Like this match made no sense. Like it's embarrassing. Okay, cheese, hold on.
The post-match roundup commentary is also just as absurd as the entire game that preceded it.
And Matthew came back a bit in the second game though. with
Came
the
back
track.
a bit.
Yeah,
That
was quite fun.
He stopped the second activation of the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
And I think it took Jesse off.
It took him by surprise, but I think he was more than capable of
Indeed,
continuing.
As is customary, the producers
Yeah.
also give Jesse a post-match interview to try and gain any strategic insights into the brain of a world champion.
I want to
well,
hear
how
what
he
he has
managed
to
to be
say.
a child on stream. And Jesse has the expected reaction of someone who understands the atrocity that's just been broadcasted to thousands of people live on air.
I'm scared.
This weekend, this is what happens when we do
I'm
it live.
scared.
But I hope you guys are gonna enjoy the show. We got so much other stuff planned for you.
The interviewer proceeds as if this was some hard-fought clash between two equals, politely ignoring the fact that thousands of viewers had just watched a 10-year-old sit motionless for 20 minutes and only getting to play a single card.
If he had hit the Dogman for the 4th time in a row, I would have lost. I wouldn't have lost.
He hit like 3 in a row, something like that. And other players, they then like mentally give up. And I mean, you've been at the like highest levels of competition. What do you do to like stay in the zone and make sure that you're not giving up?
Try not to laugh, but
If you're talking to somebody like Matthew and you're advising him how to get to the top, basically, that would be your advice. Like, stay determined, set goals, work at it.
Of course, like everyone's gonna have different roads, right? Like you gotta work hard, you gotta keep at it, don't give up. Like my road to where I am now in the game is not easy.
That is.
Yeah, what would you say is like probably your most iconic moment of your career? Like, what is like the thing?
Your
that stands
favorite
out
win?
before we-
FTKing a kid with Firewall.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The match lives on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive history for being one of the most unintentionally funny and insulting matches ever to be shown at a YCS. Following this YCS, miraculously, Firewall Dragon got banned in the Forbidden Limited list.
Oh god. Oh my god! They fucking banned him! They fucking banned Firewall
Whether it's
Dragon!
related to the public reaction of seeing a child like this lose on stream, or that Konami remembered that they could ban cards, we'll never know. None of the fault could be laid on Jesse, Matthew, or even the commentators. Who can be blamed for this mess of a match is definitely the tournament producers, who could see that the 10-year-old was in fact not prepared to play against the world champion with his Dark Magician deck. What's for certain is that for many people, this duel perfectly encapsulated the state of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! A game so broken and messy, it leads to a game like this being displayed for the world to see. We've just witnessed quite possibly the worst match in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, but what if I told you there was a time when the exact opposite happened? When one of the weakest,
already
most
watched this one.
gimmicky
We already
cards
watched
in the
this
entire
one.
game somehow took one of
Also,
Yu-Gi-Oh's
really good
strongest
video.
decks
Really,
ever.
really good
Click
video.
here to see how Exodia actually pulled off the impossible, and why it might be the most legendary win.
Yeah, that was the most legendary win. And this is the most legendary loss, I guess. I don't know how to explain this. Like, it feels like we were all losing while watching this. Like, you know? Like, oh, no. Yeah, hope he's alright. Jesse said he didn't want to patronize a kid by throwing on purpose. obviously, right? Obviously, why would you throw? Right? It makes absolutely no sense. That is absurd. Like Jesse did what he had to do. The commentators had the interviewer, the kid also did what he had to do in the like very difficult situation that he was in. It's the organizer that is the problem. I don't know if it's Konami exactly or if it's just like one person or a group of people, but definitely that shouldn't have happened. That definitely shouldn't have happened. So yeah, amazing video. Thank you, Jeff.